So we're going to look at some more long division, but this time we're going to do that and have some remainders or leftovers. So as a reminder, we use division when we're wanting to separate things into equal-sized groups. The divisor is the number you're dividing by. It's the one on the outside. The dividend is the number being divided, and the quotient is the answer. Now, the only thing that's different about this one is that we're going to have a remainder. And like I said, the remainder is the amount that is left over if the dividend cannot be divided equally. The remainder must always be less than the divisor. This happens whenever you are, let's say, eating some pizza and you don't eat all of the slices, you have some leftovers. Well, your leftovers could never be more than what you started with. So a remainder is the amount that is left over after something has been divided. So we're going to try a couple of these. So the first problem I see is 871 divided by 8. And I ask myself, can 8 go into 8? And yes, it certainly can. It can go in there one time. And then 1 times 8 is 8. I subtract to see how close I got. And I have no leftovers in that situation. But I do have a 7 to bring down. So can 8 go into 7? No, 8's larger than 7, so it cannot. So I need to put my 0 there and say, no, it could not. And then work it out. 0 times 8 is 0. Subtract. 7 take away 0 is 7. And now bring down my 1. And then I ask myself, how many times can 8 go into 71? Well, 8 times 9 is 72, but that would be too large. So it couldn't be 9, so it would have to be 8. So 8 times 8 is 64. And I subtract to see how close I got. 11 take away 4 is 7. 6 take away 6 is nothing. And I have no more numbers to bring down, so I'm finished. However, I do have some leftovers. I have a remainder of 7. So my quotient, my answer is 108 with a remainder of 7. Let's try the one right beside it. I have 954 divided by 5. How many times can 5 go into 9? And that would be 1. 1 times 5 is 5. Subtract to see how close I got. 9 minus 5 is 4. Bring down my 5. How many times does 5 go into 45? That would be 9. Nine times 5 is 45. Subtract to see how close I got, and I would get 0. Bring down the 4. How many times will 5 go into 4? Well, it won't. 5's larger than 4. So it will not go in there, so it's 0. 0 times 5 is 0. Subtract. 4 minus 0 is 4. And I have no more numbers to bring down, so I have a remainder of 4. Now, again, make sure your remainder is not larger than your divisor. My remainder is 4, the divisor is 5, so I'm fine. And my final answer in this problem would be 190 with a remainder of 4. So let's try a real-world problem. In this situation, it says a post office has 793 pieces of junk mail they want to split evenly between 4 mail trucks. How many extra pieces of junk mail will they have if they give each truck the same amount? Now let's look at our question, because the question says how many extra pieces of junk mail. So that is going to be our remainder. They want to know how many extras did not fit into the truck. So I need to take my 793 pieces of junk mail, that would be my dividend, and divide them between 4 mail trucks, which is now my divisor. So let's see, how many times does 4 go into 7? It would be once. And then 1 times 4 is 4. Subtract to see how close I got. 7 minus 4 is 3. Bring down my 9. How many times does 4 go into 39? And that would be 9. 9 times 4 is 36. Subtract to see how close I got. 9 minus 6 is 3. 3 minus 3 is 0. Bring down this 3. How many times will 4 go into 33? Well, let's see. 9 times 4 was 36, so that was too large. So let's try the 8. 8 times 4 is 32. And I'm going to subtract. 3 minus 2 is 1. 3 minus 3 is 0. So I have a remainder or a leftover of 1. So how many extra pieces of junk mail will they have? There would be 1 extra piece of junk mail. And let's try this one. It says the roller coaster at the state fair costs 5 tickets per ride. If you had 582 tickets, how many tickets would you have left if you rode it as many times as you could? Once again, our question asks how many would you have left if you rode it as many times as you could. So we're looking for our leftovers. So we're going to take our 582 tickets, that's our dividend, and divide it by 5, which is our divisor. We'll see how many times we could write it, and then how many times we had, how many tickets we had left over. So how many times does 5 go into 5? Well, that's easy. It's 1 time. And 1 times 5 is 5. 5 minus 5 is 0. And I need to bring down my 8. How many times does 5 go into 8? Once. And 1 times 5 is 5. Subtract to see how close we got. 8 minus 5 is 3. I have a 2 that I need to bring down. How many times will 5 go into 32? That would be 6. And 6 times 5 is 30. Let's see how close we got. 2 minus 0 is 2. 3 minus 3 is 0. So I have a remainder of 2. Wow, we could ride that roller coaster 116 times, and then we would have 2 tickets left over. So the answer to my question is we would have 2 tickets were left.